Hey everyone, I'm Matt,
I'm Deanna.
and welcome to Chasing Balance. This is Chasing Balance, the podcast where we navigate the art of juggling life, work, kids, our relationship, and everything in between.
In this first episode, we're giving you a behind the scenes look at who we are, what we're passionate about, and what you can expect in future episodes.
So, it's the introductory podcast. Who are we? Who are you?
I'm Deanna. Professionally, I work in the insurance company or insurance agency. Um, we have three children together, all boys, of course, ranging from teens to toddler. Um, And that alone keeps us very busy. Lots of sports, a lot of chaos that we have to navigate. But me personally, right now, I'm pretty passionate about reading, and that sounds extremely boring, but it's my own little chunk of me time that I can have in
It's
the
your own
day.
little piece of heaven.
It
Yeah,
is kind of
everybody needs
escape.
that.
Yes. What about you? Who are you?
Um, Nice to meet you. uh, I'm Matt. As far as career goes, I work a few different jobs as the title of marketing manager. Um, my personal life highlights, besides family, kids, work. That's really all it is. I really do try to stay active, working out, uh, running, trying to do that at least 6 times a week, and that's really one of the big things that Deanna and I really put an emphasis on is staying healthy, chasing that
Mhm.
balance as far as family time, work, and then also making sure that our temple, our bodies are still physically working, physically ready to tackle the next day.
Yes.
Um, so what do you hope to gain out of this podcast? Or what came to mind when I was like, hey, you and I should start a podcast?
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, so I was a little apprehensive because it's something new that I've never really done. So yeah, I was apprehensive, but the more I thought about it, and like I said before with the whole reading and carving out a chunk of time, it kind of does that for the two of us, carves out that chunk of time where we can sit and talk about stuff and, fully get a good idea of both of our sides on things.
We have a full day of kids and work. So now we're going to sit down and record us talking about kids and work.
And
So
mind you, we both work full-time remote and work in the same room.
that's
So
right.
it's literally we spend every second of the day together.
We did. Yeah, we never get a
So
break from each
yes,
other.
this was necessary.
So
More time together. But
so
hey,
what I hope to get out of this podcast, and I'm talking to listeners like we have, hundreds of thousands of listeners right now, which we don't.
yes.
So, it's one for me to vocalize my thoughts more, obviously to you,
Mhm.
just get them off my chest. It's almost kind of like therapy. And maybe along the lines down the road, whether this doesn't turn into success or whether it does, this will be something that the kids can possibly listen to when they get
Yeah.
older. Kind of like how we would go through,
Like a
family,
little time capsule.
yeah, like family baby books,
Yeah.
photographs. This is just the way it is now. People are doing podcasts, and hopefully in the future, um, this wave file, this podcast will be somewhere ancient, and our kids will be like, "What is this? What is
Yes.
this that mom and dad made?"
Yes. On a thumb drive.
Yeah,
We're
let's
gonna be
listen
like,
to
how do I get to this?
it. So,
How do I open this?
breaking the ice a little bit. What's a fun fact about you?
Fun fact. Uh, it's not fun. The first thing that came to my head was I went to school for 4 years for art, and I'm doing the complete opposite full time.
Well,
Insurance is the complete opposite of art.
no one can take that degree away from you.
Nobody
Nobody can
can.
take that away from you.
Nobody can.
Little fun fact about me is that I'm comfortable. I feel comfortable on the microphone. I used to want to be a rapper, the next Eminem. I love entertaining.
It's beautiful.
Um, so this is this is comfortable to me, and I hope we continue to do this, and I hope we enjoy doing this together, which I assume we will. Um,
Your fun
so
fact
yeah,
was better than mine.
what's that?
Your fun fact was better than mine. Yours was actually fun.
Well, okay, so let's move on. I am a little bit more fun.
No,
Let's so
we'll do that.
the next thing is the podcast name is Chasing Balance. So, you know, I guess we need to define what is balance. And maybe that's what this whole podcast is about, whether it's 4 episodes, 10 episodes, 2,000 episodes. How do we chase balance? How do we find that balance? And we want to emphasize in it that balance is not about perfection, but the journey and process of finding um, that balance between work life, kids, um, the relationship between wife and husband or two parents. Um,
Or even
so
yourself.
yeah, even yourself. How do you pull yourself away
Yeah.
from work to focus on yourself? For saying running, yoga, reading,
Mm-hmm.
um, going to school for 4 years to get your degree.
Spending so much money.
um, so we're gonna that's what we're gonna be focused on is trying to define you know balance, which I don't know if anybody can ever like really um exactly pinpoint exactly what the perfect balance is, especially with a young family and two parents that work full time.
Yeah, and, think from our side of things, it's like, what balance is for us, and, maybe sharing some stories and how we've navigated those things and different scenarios will help others, and that's essentially, what we kind of wanna do, um, because, figuring out and navigating all those things is very tricky, and I know from personal experience, I have gone on back in the day when you would do like Facebook forums and like
Hmm.
mom to mom groups and
Yep.
all that when we were first time parents and all that mom guilt and everything. But there was some elements in there that was like, oh, I didn't even think about doing that. Um
Yeah. There
so even if we
even
you know,
like potty training secrets that like
yeah,
the doctor would tell us or something for
yeah.
that would ruin our weeks. And then we talk to the doctor like, doc, we don't know what to do. And he'd be like, did you try this? Like, why the easiest thing? Why didn't we think about it?
Or like your
Um,
mom we first had our firstborn.
yeah.
She's like, did you burp him? We were both like,
No one told us.
why? Why would you do that?
No one in the hospital told us to birth the child, which is crazy, which seems like we should have known, even though we're
Yeah,
sleep deprived and everything. But
we were young.
so that's what this is. This podcast is about creating a space to share, hopefully relatable stories
Mm.
with the listener, or, when our kids grow up and if they ever get to, ever happen to listen to this. So we're going to be sharing advice, and by no means at all is this expert advice. It's
Oh
just
god,
stuff
no.
that, it's just stuff that we've came across. We found out what works for us, and there's probably gonna be a lot of things that we're still confused about, still scratching our heads, like how do we fix this issue? And we hope to entertain you with our stories and our humor with the challenges of our life. And obviously, we really hope that it's relatable to you, um, and possibly what your family is maybe going through. Um, so, what to expect from this podcast? The topics we're going to cover is work-life balance, relationships and communication, mental and physical health, time
Mhm.
management, and possibly provide productivity hacks. And maybe in the future we'll have some real-life stories from guests and listeners. Um, so, why does this podcast matter? Why does chasing balance matter? So do you have kind of a way to define why chasing balance matters and how you have struggled with it and why it's worth pursuing?
Um, well, personally, I mean, I go back to when we first became parents, and
Yeah.
we really didn't know what the heck we were doing. And I was home, and you were, you were working,
Mhm.
and that was when I was on leave, and I was left alone with this little itty bitty baby that refused to eat, and
I
I,
do remember that when I went back to work, you were crying and you were saying, "I don't want you to go back to work." It
yeah,
had to be scary
yeah,
to be home alone by yourself with just one kid and never doing it before.
yeah. I watched Ellen, like.
For what? Inspiration?
No, like, I
You were
just
just
I
depressed?
vividly remember watching Ellen, and I'm like, "This isn't me. I
Uh,
don't do this." But anyway, after that, and after we kind of, got a little stability and got our hands, kinda, like, on the reins of it a bit, I realized that that's the most important part, is, like, finding your, who you are as a person, and also all of the things that you have to do. Like, you have to be, now I have to take care of this little baby.
mhm.
Now I have to go back to work and take care of this little baby.
Yep.
And I have to figure out this new person that I am, so the balance is there, in trying to figure out how it works and how you feel successful is the most important part of it.
I agree. And, I think, finding that universal struggle or finding why balance is worth pursuing is, I think that I found this out, how much easier life can be. Definitely when you work remote. You got to
Mhm.
work remote first before I did. And I was stuck in, a stuffy sales office.
It goes to the whole balance thing.
Yeah. Stuck in, a large office. Um, and I was just miserable. And then, I came across a great opportunity to work remote. And when I was hired, the boss just said, as long as you get your work done, I really don't care how much you work, which I know is not a luxury for everyone.
Right.
Um, but it's given me, and I don't take advantage of that, but it gives you, when you get to work remote, I was able to find a little bit better balance as far as, mental health, and physical health, because, you're in a stuffy office, you're in some big, corporate building or something like that. You go and you eat lunch in a stuffy, overlit break room for 30 minutes,
Yeah,
and
fluorescence.
yeah, it doesn't
Ugh,
do anything for you.
no.
You're just a robot. So,
Around people that you don't even like. Like, let's be honest.
yes, most of the time you don't even want to have a conversation, let
Right.
alone eat with them.
Exactly. Or you have that one person where you're just, like, kinda staring at because you know that they're thinking the exact same thing you're thinking, but you can't really say it because you're just around a
So
bunch
you're
of
just like,
people.
hey, what'd you bring for lunch today?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, now it's turned into me being able to be home,
Mhm.
obviously help with carpool, make lunches, dinner, lunches, breakfast, all that stuff.
Which in it
And
I'm sorry,
go
which
ahead.
in it in itself was very interesting from my side of things, because you became full-time remote during COVID,
Hmm.
which also happened to be the time that we had our last baby.
Knock on wood.
No, no, there's no knocking on wood. It's just done.
Yeah,
Um, so you were now around us during what would have been considered my maternity leave
that's true. Yep.
24/7.
Yep.
And the way, I mean, granted, you're an amazing father from the beginning, but see,
I mean, what can I say? Go ahead.
right?
Go on.
Um, but seeing the way that you were with our last compared to the way that you were with our first
Mhm.
is completely different, because you have been there 100% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the episodes I want to talk about. I do want to talk about COVID in a further episode, so I don't want to ruin too much or give too much away. Um, So
Sorry.
that's okay. No, that's fine. So yeah, COVID was definitely eye-opening, and that is also more than likely what put the plan in action to allow this company to allow workers to work
Mhm.
remote, and that's why I probably got that job. It
Yeah.
probably would have been an in-office job if it weren't for COVID. Uh, whatever silver lining is there.
Yeah,
So
and then prior to mine, I think I was going in maybe once, biweekly
I think you were
or
going in 2 times a week.
oh, yeah, was it?
I think so.
Yeah, and, like, our headquarters is, like, an hour and a half away from where we actually live, so it
Yeah,
was just, like, a full day. It was ridiculous, and then when COVID happened and everything shut down, they were like, "You know what? You just stay home.
yeah.
You don't need to sleep.
So the
Skype will do just fine."
so going back to chasing balance, why is it worth pursuing? I think that's kind of a dumb question, but I mean, there are some people out there that say, "Oh, you shouldn't chase balance. You should just let life be what life is going to be." And that's honestly bullshit because if you don't plan it, if you just let life be what it's going to be, then I will, let my kids, wear whatever they want to school if it's dirty or clean. The house won't be clean. I'll go to work. I'll eat like shit. I
Exactly.
won't work out.
Mhm.
And at that time, then you're really lazy, and then you sit down, you read your book, or I play my video games without working out.
Depression just creeps up.
Yeah. And then, you know, wash, rinse, and repeat, and it happens all over again. So,
Mhm.
the term of you shouldn't chase balance is ridiculous, and you should always be improving your life the way it lays out. Um, and I hope everyone has the courage to do that, and we'd love to hear stories from people that have done that or what struggles that they have. So this is going to wrap up our episode. Was there anything else that you wanted to include in this introductory?
No, I think we covered a lot.
We did cover a lot when we were just supposed to be saying our names, and now we're talking 17 minutes later. So,
Right.
so, um, so we will be posting this podcast on all of the social media platforms and all the platform channels like iHeartRadio, Spotify, things of that nature. So we do ask you to subscribe, leave a review if you like it, and encourage you guys to follow us on social media to where you can share your own stories and get updates from us. We just want to thank everyone for tuning in, and we're really excited about our next episode. And what is that one about?
The next episode is going to be about if we are putting too much unrealistic expectations on our kids.
Ooh, that should be a good one.
Yeah,
All right.
juicy.
Once again, this is Chasing Balance. I'm Matt,
I'm Deanna.
and once again, thank you for tuning in. Bye bye.